So, good evening. It's truly a pleasure to be here, and I would like to begin by thanking Professor Dr. Vitor Fang for being here today, and especially Professor Mario André for his generosity and for inviting me to take part of this colloquium. My name is Teresa Feitosa, and I'm a trumpet player, teacher, and researcher from the state of Ceará, currently living in João Pessoa, Paraíba, where I'm doing my PhD in ethnomusicology. Since my undergraduate studies, I've been building a research way centered on women musicians, and I have explored about performance and strategies of family trumpet players and feminist pedagogies, and now I continue to deepen this way in my doctoral research, where I have my advisor, Dra. Eurides Souza Santos, and in the Federal University of Paraíba. The title of my proposal is Feminine Expressivity in Popular Music from Cariri, Ceará, an empirical construct with women instrumentalists. So, what drives this research? The central questions I ask is how can we think about the expressivity of women instrumentalists from the Caribbean region as an empirical construct? But to defeat these questions, I need to share where it comes from. This research problem seeks to understand not only how feminine expressivity is manifested in the context of popular music, but also how it's shaped by gender dynamics. In other words, how identity, body, culture, and music intertwine. This theme, in fact, emerged from a very personal place. As a woman, an artist, and a family trumpet player from Ceará, I've always been curious about how expressivity is constructed, not just technically, but emotionally and politically, throughout the journey of women musicians. My music education has always gone beyond technical. For me, making music has also meant resistance, identity, and political expression. Therefore, building an empirical foundations for this research allow us to not theorize feminine expressivity, but also to contribute actively to the fields of ethnomusicology, musical psychology, and gender studies. And because the research questions is rooted in my own artistic reality. This probably becomes a dialogue between theory and practice, between experience and reflection, generating not only academic relevance but also real social impact. And here we have a quote by Perigato, 2014, that reminds us that expressivity is not only a closet concept. Instant is a multifaceted phenomenon that demands a diversity of theoretical and methodological approaches. If in this research I approach expressivity as a dynamic and layered construction that unfolds across different disciplinary fields. More specifically, my project engaged with performance studies to analyze how expressivity is constructed through bodily gesture, musical phrasings, stage presence, and emotional intention. Ethnomusicology to contextualize expressivity within the musical culture and local traditions of the Caribbean region, considering how collective memory, territory, and oral transmission shape artistic expression. And also social studies to explore expressivity as a response to social context, including genders, inequalities, systems, inviabilities, and historical silence. Gender studying studies to questions how gender experience influence music expressivity, drawing on feminist and queer theories, especially the Butler concept of performativity, where gender is innate and rated in tracks. And the last one, music psychology, to investigate how cognition, memory, motivation, and emotion influence musical performance in an artist's intention. Here we see my general objectives and also my specific objectives. And my general from this perspective is to investigate feminine expressivity in popular music from Cariri, Ceará, as an empirical construct. In order to do so, outline the specific objectives. The first, I'm going to try to make the role of women instrumentalists in the popular music scene of the Caribbean region. Second one, to explore how the expressivity is constructed through performance, identity, and regional culture. And the last one, to propose an interpretative model for this empirical construct of expressivity. So now let me to briefly expand on the region where this research takes place. That is my place. The Cariri region, affectionately known as the Oasis of Sertão, is one of the richest cultural zones. Oasis of the Sertão is like a cute call, and in the Brazilian Northeast. It's made by ancestral heritage, religion, syncretism, popular festivities, oral traditions, and a strong presence of music, both traditional and contemporary. Each of its cities shares unique expressivity, either through cabaçal bands, reisado, benditos, or hybrid music forms that emerge from popular and academic encounters. As I mentioned before, this is not a place I research, it's where I come from. So my body is my field, my listen is my method, and my learning is also my data. This makes the research applied ethical, effective, and situated. So here we can see a lot of cities. It's 9 cities in the total. And then you have three uh, biggest cities like Crato, Juazeiro, Barbalha. All the towns together forms like a metropolitan in the states. And then you have the smaller cities like Paris Brito, Caridiaçu, Missão Velha, Santana do Cariri, Nova Olinda, that is my town, Nova Olinda, and Jardim. Jardim, it's a little bit more across the another state and the last city of the Ceará, cross Pernambuco, that is the, the another state. So here's my geographic and cultural context of my research. My methodology, regarding the methodology, this is a qualitative study shaped by five works and multiple case analysis. I will conduct interviews, phonographic and audiovisual recordings, and ethnographic observations, seeking to trace expressive elements and the performance of women musicians from the region. Importantly, and I want to emphasize this, there is no pre-established numbers of participants, nor a strict territory delimitations. Let me explain. I didn't make a strict territory because we have the smaller cities that have a, a kind of musical movement that I will consider also, but we have the biggest cities that I told, Barbalha, Juazeiro, and Crato. The field will be shaped by encounter, availability, and resonance. It's an open, moving, and listening sensitive field. Furthermore, the psychology of music will guide the interpretation of expressive behaviors such as emotional regulations, affective memory, and expressed intentions. At the same time, the social dimensions will consider how gender, class, race, and territorial belonging shape performance and musical agents. With this research, I hope to generate academic, social, and effective impacts. So my expected contributions academically by proposing an analytical model of feminine expressivity grounded in lived experience, socially by giving a voice and visibility to women musicians from the Cariri, and effectively by affirming that attentive listen, when done ethically and politically, can be a tool for care, for knowledge, and for transformation. To conclude, I thank you again for this opportunity to share a project that is my born for my territory, my body, and my artistic journey. Thank you so much. Here I have my reference, some authors, international authors, but I quote some Brazilians authors. That's it. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and congratulations for the nice proposal and for the presentation. I really appreciate that. Um, it's a very worthy topic, and I am wondering. You said that you do field work, and you also do qualitative approach, and I'm wondering if you have looked into ethnography. Uh, do you know what I'm talking about? Ethnography.
I know.
Yeah. So how is your study is or is not ethnography? Do you know? Do you have a clear idea about that?
Actually not because I started my PhD now, so I have just 6 months and then I'm changing so the methodology yet.
Yeah, I see. Well, given the topic and your position as a native of that area, I think it would be beneficial if you can consider ethnography as your approach, because ethnography is one kind of qualitative research, but it's also is related to field work, and the focus of ethnography is that you enter the field, and then you also gain the trust of the people, and people will tell you what information you need. And then sometimes some of these things can be very informal. It's almost like you are talking to a friend and your friend tell you that. It's not like so formal like an interview, because when you are in the field, they treat you like you are one of them. So you don't need to say, "Oh, I'm interviewing you now and I'm recording." So it's less of a boundary, more like you are integrated into the field. You are part of the field, and then at the same time, you have to understand your position. You are an insider, but you are also trying to be an outsider. That means you observe like an outsider, so you remove your bias. You observe like you are from outside, you don't know anything about that. But at the same time, you are insider, you get the insights of someone inside. So it will be really beneficial if you can look into ethnography, the literature on ethnography, how to do field work and how to do participant observation, and how you enter the field, gaining trust and collecting data, and then in the end, you have to exit the field.
Actually, when I'm going to take my vacations, I lived for 1 month with these women and girls, and I do a kind of, I don't know, I see the performance and then we talk about it's not a formal interview like just the interview. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. When we do field work in an ethnographic study, there's a less clear cut about when is the interview, when is not the interview. It's even just regular chatting can be your data.
Okay.
And the things that you observe. So I think the one important element that you didn't mention in your proposal is your own journal, your own reflective journal. That is very important because if you don't write journals, then you forget a lot of details. So let me just to make sure I get it right for you. Reflective journal. So that's what you need to do. So because of the informal qualities, so as soon as you have some, oh, that's something interesting or something important, may not be an interview, then you have to jot down in your notes and then you reflect on it. You jot down what happened, what is being said, and what that means, and your interpretation of it, and some ideas you have in relation to what you see in the field. So that is in your reflective journal. That can be very insightful.
Okay.
Yeah, and then overall, I think that's a very good proposal.
Thank you. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Vito.